Joining us now is our second place finisher, Matt Kenseth, driver of the number 20 Reesers Main Street Bistro Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. And also joining us is Chris Buescher, driver of the number 60 Advocare Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. We'll start it off with one for each of you. Matt, if you go first, just talk a little bit about battling your teammate down there. A handful of laps down the stretch, you guys were kind of trading in and out of that first position. So just talk a little bit about that battle down to the finish. Yeah,
I thought most of the day we had the best car, and at the end there we just got to lose that run. And Kyle, even though he put himself in the back twice, he figured out how to make it happen again. So that was kind of aggravating. It was a good day for us. I think we ran 5 races this year. I think that's our 4th second in a row. So it's good, but it's also aggravating. So would have liked to gone out of the season, with a win for sure. But I just couldn't hold off Kyle. We just got too free and tried everything, held him off longer than I thought I could, but just couldn't make it happen.
Matt, follow up on that. Anything from today's race that you learned in this car? I know it's different series to series, but anything you can take away from today that you think will benefit tomorrow on the Cup side?
Not really. I mean, I feel like every time you're driving a race car, you learn something. Either learn what not to do or what to do, or pick up a little bit here or there. But the cars are a fair amount different. Same racetrack, same tire, same conditions. So you always like to think you learned something, but I couldn't tell you exactly what right now.
And Chris, you talked a little bit yesterday in here. Hadn't had the best finishes at Kansas Speedway, but those were somewhat misleading. We felt had some strong runs in there in those previous races and just battled some bad luck. Today you came out, got the much stronger finish, pulling in 6th place there, and did exactly what you said you were hoping to do in these last few races, which was maintain, if not build a little bit on that series lead, and you now sit 27 points ahead of that 2nd place driver. Talk a little bit about your run and what that means for your championship hopes.
Yeah, it was an eventful day. I got a couple things I got to clean up on my end. The pit road speeding penalty was not helping anything. So trying to make up that, and then stalled it once leaving pit road, and that's just things I got to do better with. But the guys did a nice job. The car was pretty good all day. I mean, we were top 5 car, and just had to use up a lot to try and get back up there, and was not looking for that last yellow, that last restart. We got a good start and got down the corner, but the just got real tight right behind the 3. So didn't end up exactly where we wanted, but overall it was a good day for us. I mean, it was a good points day. As much as I hate to just talk about points days, but it's best run we've had here at Kansas, and best mile and a half we've had in a while. So I'm glad our program's getting better there.
All right, we'll go right ahead, open it up. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get you a wireless mic. State your name and affiliation, if you don't mind. We'll start right here, and then we'll work our way around.
Thank you. Todd Engel with the Kansas City Star. Matt, you mentioned that you had you thought you had the best car out there today. Was there any one event that sort of changed that over the course of the evening, or kind of how did that start to slip away a little bit?
Well, I think the first time, Kyle sped and then got 2 tires and got in front of me, even when it's the best car, when you get behind somebody, it's not the best car. So most of the day, I mean, obviously, I led that whole part. So because you're driving away from everybody, automatically in your head, you think you have the best car. But if you put it in the back, that might not be the case. But earlier in the day, I could get away from Kyle pretty good. I could pretty much dictate how hard I wanted to run and lead. Not easily, but as the day went on, it just got harder and harder for us to do that. We got on the tight side of the balance. One time did 4, the next time got a little bit free, not bad, and thought it was going to get tight on 2 there at the end, and just freed it up a little too much for 2 tires, and just burned the right rear off it and couldn't hold them off.
All right, we'll go back to Bob in the left.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Chris, a 27-point lead with 3 races to go? 3 races to go. Do you feel like you kind of very much control your own destiny here over the last 3 races, and if you run where you feel like your cars are at, you should win the title?
Ultimately, yes. It's up to us to go out here and run top 5, and if not as close as possible to that for these last 3, and if we can do that, then they're not going to get there. When they run within 1 or 2 spots of us like they have the past couple of weeks, that's also not going to help them get to where they need to be. So from that aspect, yes, we need to focus on our own racing, worry about worry about ourselves and go out there and make sure that we have days like we have the last several weeks. We've had top 10s the last 4 or 5 weeks here, and it's maybe a little further, but it's going to be a big thing for us. We got to go into Texas, which has been a pretty good track for us. Feel pretty good about that one. Go into Phoenix, and that's going to be a place where we just need to make sure we end up with a top 10 and as far up as possible. And then Homestead was a track where actually felt really good at last year. We got a top 5 there late at the end of the year, and starting to get something that was working for us. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be tough all the way to the end, but every point's going to count, and if we can keep them right where they're at right now, there's a pretty good chance we can get it.
All right, we'll come up front and then take a couple down the middle.
Sean Roney, Dos Mundos bilingual newspaper in Kansas City for Matt. During the last caution, during the television broadcast, they were wondering if it was going to be Ty Dillon or Daniel Suarez who was maybe going to make the big push for the front runners during that restart. Who did you kind of sense were going to be the people that you might have to fight off making a late surge?
Well, really just Kyle. But you never know what's going to happen on a restart, I guess, if some people get pushing these cars. Unlike the Cup cars, you can push a lot more, bump draft more. Going up through the gears are so low on power. So somebody could always get a big run, but NASCAR's been doing a good job of policing those restarts so people can't lay back real far. So I was really concerned about trying to get rolling good and hope Ty could push me a little bit and keep me alongside of Kyle. But Kyle got rolling and almost cleared me right away, and Ty couldn't quite get to my rear bumper. So when Kyle was in front of me going into turn 1, it was pretty much over.
All right, we'll go to Kelly.
Kelly Crandall from PopularSpeed.com. For Chris, the initial start looked really aggressive, and I believe you got sandwiched between 2 of your championship rivals on lap 1 or 2. Did the aggression of the initial start surprise you, and was there any concern that the car might have had some damage?
It's not surprising. I mean, we go through that on starts and restarts every week. Everyone's so desperate to get all they can right there and right then and now, and it's led to a lot of torn up equipment this year. So surprised, no. Frustrated, yeah. I thought that was a little bit ridiculous to be that early in the race and was it lap 1? I mean, that early to try and do that. So, the damage was, it is what it is. I mean, it wasn't smoking. It wasn't hard enough contact where we thought we'd have any issues with tires. So, not really concerned about it. Just, it was early.
I'll go to the back right.
Diane Cox with the Advantage News out of St. Louis. My question's for you, Matt. Last year and so far this year, we've seen how this new chase format can be very stressful and a lot of pressure. Does driving both races in a weekend, does it add stress or does it help relieve it, kind of taking your mind off of the Sprint Cup Championship?
Well, it depends how you run. I haven't been any more stressed out or less stressed out than I ever have been, honestly. You can never take anything for granted in this sport. It's really, really hard if you're not, giving your best every race, every lap, working as hard as you can to get better. It doesn't matter, chase, no chase, what it is, you're not going to have your job long. So, pressure to me is always the same. I always feel the same, desperation or whatever you want to say to succeed and to run good and to try to go out and hopefully compete for wins. So for me, it doesn't really change. I mean, yeah, it's you have a bad race in a way. The consequences are more sort of, but it's really just one race at a time. Try to do the best you can every week.
All right, Matt, Chris, thank you both for joining us here.